I'm going to walk around me one of my chicken runs. We've had a bit of trouble with something coming in, killing hens. I don't know where. Well, from the looks of it, it could be a little dog. Looks more like a dog than a fox because it's been digging under the wire. I don't know whether a fox. Well, I'm sure foxes probably would do that to a degree, but just looking at the footprints in the mud, they look more like little dog prints to me. Oh, just trying to figure out what's wrong with the electric fences, because they were working a week ago. You got a fair whack off these fences, but something's not right now. It's banging on the earth stake. So whether it's not getting a good earth or whether it's earthing out, which is why it's banging, I don't know. I've just had a good walk round now and I can't see. I mean, there's little bits of grass touching here and there, but there's nothing obvious earthing it out. So yeah, it just drives you mad. Electric fences irritate me because they're great when they work, but just the time, you can spend a lot of time troubleshooting, trying to figure out why they're not working, and it just I don't have the patience for it. I mean, generally you're a lot better off with a mains one. You've got plenty of power there, but something's definitely not right. And barely get, like normally you get a piece of grass and touch one of these and you know about it, but I can barely feel it at the moment. But I just cannot find the problem. I don't think it's not a break, because I can't feel it right where it comes out of the ticker, so it's got to be an earth. It's got to be like an earth leak somewhere. But anyway, I'm gonna have to figure it out before I let these hens out today, because I don't really want to be losing any more. I let them out yesterday thinking it was fine, and then after I stupidly checked the fence after I let them out, and it wasn't really working. And I faffed around with the earth stake a bit, and I thought, well, that might, and I could feel a faint tick, and I thought, well, sometimes when you first turn them on, it takes a bit of time just for them to kill off all the grass what it is touching. Once it's killed all any bits of grass and plant, it normally gets better. Shock gets better. But I don't know why that's doing that. Someone could tell me. I'm being thick as anything. It's really obvious, I'm sure, but normally I just have the earth go into an earth stake like I have, and it works, but it's ticking on the earth. Anyway, I'm sure you didn't really care, but someone will probably tell me that there's something very obvious that I'm doing wrong, but anyway. Well, it seems to be working now. I just fiddled with the wire a bit and poured some water around the earth stake. I don't know, you'd think the ground would be wet enough, but no, it seems to be working now, so I've let them out. Yeah, I hope they don't get any visits today. So I tried to do a bit of hedge cutting yesterday. I didn't get very far. I got about 10 yards and I barely cut anything, and then this thing snapped again. Well, not again. I mean, when we got it, this had a crack in it and it was hanging on by a thread, so I heated it up, bent it back and welded it. And then I must have just knocked something and it just snapped clean off. So I had to come home and weld it back up again. So But then after that I went out again and had another go and did a bit of hedge cutting, and it seems all right now. But what happened was that motor just stopped running. I noticed that the flails were getting slower and slower, and I was thinking it's weird. And I revved the PTO up a bit more, and eventually they got so slow they weren't cutting at all. So I had to give up. But I come home and I sort of was expecting to find this sort of overheated maybe, but it was stone cold. And I checked the oil, and the oil level looks all right. I mean, it could have a little bit in it, but I don't think it's low enough to cause any trouble. And the oil wasn't overly hot. This pump wasn't very hot. So I don't know. You tell me. I haven't got a clue what's gone on there. Have to do a bit more investigation. I was talking to my friend. He was having a look at it, and he said, "Oh, why don't you?" Because the problem I've got with having to look over your left-hand shoulder while you're using your right-hand controls. He said, "Why don't you spin it round? You could probably unbolt this, take it off, spin it round, turn the head round, and just have it as a right-hand side one." Which, to be fair, I don't know. Probably not a bad idea, but I'm sure there'll be some reason why we can't. For a start, it doesn't look like the holes line up the other way around. But anyway, yeah. So not having a huge amount of success with it, but yeah, keep having a play. Still waiting for a part for the Land Rover. So I'm just going to give these some corn and I'll show you what I was doing last night. So yeah, I had another session in here last night, welding. I didn't film any of it, but I've just put these plates on here so I could put the hinge on this side. So now this gate will fold all the way back round to there, which will just make it a lot easier, because I've got to, once I've cleaned the, I've got to lock them onto the bed to clean the passage out, and then I want to move them from the bed onto the passage. And when the gate didn't fold round, it was a bit difficult just getting them from one bay to the other. So now I can fold the gate round. It should make it a lot easier. And then I welded an extra hinge on this so I can lift it up out of the muck, because it's just sat on this muck all the while. And then I lifted this gate, this main gate, 10-foot gate, onto the hinges that this one was on, and drilled a new hole in the post, you know, for the latch. But Christ, that took me a while. I almost gave up on it. I was drilling and drilling it. I thought the drill bit wasn't very sharp, you know, like a hole saw. And yeah, I don't know, I ran out of energy. I almost gave up last night. I thought, I can't do this. But I did eventually persevere, and then welded this extra latch on here. So yeah, just more fannying around, but just little things that make the job a bit easier. These are desperately wanting scraping and bedding again today. Got me a load of horse muck yesterday, so I can put a bit of that in the passage to soak up a bit of moisture. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Yeah, just get everything fed and bedded up today, because I'm supposed to be going away for the majority of the day tomorrow, so just got to make sure everything's done. Yeah, rang up JCB dealer yesterday and asked for a price on an exhaust for this, because it's the rattling's doing my head in. How much do you think? That's all it is that box, this pipe that goes to this manifold. 500 quid, well 520 quid plus that. I thought, bloody hell. No, it's no bigger than an exhaust on a little car really, and you know, you could get a car exhaust for, I don't know, 70 or 80 quid, 100 quid maybe. But like I said to the bloke, I said, yeah, that sounded dear, and he said, well, it's dear compared to a car, but It's cheap compared to a tractor, so yeah, you can't argue with that. So I have sort of ordered it, but I don't know, I'm half tempted to take that one off, cut the end off it and have a look inside, and if it is just a baffle that's rattling loose, maybe I can just weld it up and weld the end back on. Save myself 500 quid. It's a bit of a Heath Robinson fix, but you know, 500 quid, 520 quid, don't know. Probably think of something else I'd rather spend the money on, but we'll see. I've got to take my van for an MOT this afternoon, so probably have a long list of jobs to do with that before the end of the day. Well, or I hope not, really. And then as soon as that's done and I've got this back together, this needs to go for an MOT as well. So I don't think there'll be anything major wrong with either one, but any little thing is a hassle, isn't it? If you've got to take it back again, sit there for half an hour. Not that I'm moaning. Everyone has to do MOTs, don't they? Well, the van passed its MOT, so that's some good news. I'm going to worry about that for another year. Just need to get the Land Rover done, and then we're good to go. I'm going to go and get the all the cows bedded up and scraped out now. Day's nearly over. God. Still, at least I haven't got to go back. It would have been more of a waste of a day if I had to change a blimmin' light bulb or something like that. Annoying. But yeah, good news. What a bloody mess, sheepney. I mean, why did they even need to go through there? Having a walk around these sheep as I'm going past. I think they want moving off here really, it's time for them to come home. There's a couple I can see broken out into the next field over, which isn't really a problem, but it's not fenced along the neighbours, so if they were to go through again, we'll be in trouble. This one is duck. Happy days. Yeah, they're all a bit spread out. Yeah, it's a bit wet on here. Should have brought me wellies. And I've got some holes in my boots, so not very fun this. There's two, oh, they've broken apart now. There's two sheep there fastened together with a bit of bramble in between them. Yeah, they don't look too unhappy really. Still plenty of grass to go at. Yeah, they're on about getting me to move them over, but I can't decide whether to move them or whether to just pack them up and take them home. So we've got a bit of grass at home to graze, and I'm hoping that some of them will sell. So yeah, I need to make a decision really on what to do tomorrow. It'll be either come here and move fences, or it'll be come here and fetch a load home. I won't get them all in one load. There'll be two loads I would have thought, so probably two different days at it. Lambs apparently are trading, well they have been the last 2 weeks, trading very well, so I'm sure the market will completely die when I take mine. That's what happens. But anyway, I'm just going to have a walk around and just see how much fencing it would require to move them. Because the other thing I do, I could round them up here and weigh them and take some bigger ones home and leave some here, but don't know if it's worth it really. I've got grass to graze at home, so I think I might just take them home. As soon as I get rid of all these lambs, it'll be restocking with some couples, I suppose, using lambs. Do the same. That's what I did last year. It seemed to work all right. Probably do the same again. So that's my plan anyway. Don't really know what I'm doing or why I do it. We're on my way to fetch some of my sheep back from their winter keep. So it's about time they were off, I think. Various different reasons, but I'm in my Land Rover. It's driving. It doesn't seem to be throwing oil out, and it's passed its MOT today, which are two things that I would consider to be miracles, really. So yeah, all in all, I'm in quite a good mood about the Land Rover situation. Something that had the potential to take me out of my good mood yesterday, it didn't, but it might have done, was someone must have driven past the sheep where they are. They're right next to a main road, and seen that there was some sheep stuck in a hedge, and whether or not they just saw them once or whether they drove past and then drove past again later on in the day and this sheep was still stuck in the same hedge, I don't know. But they decided to take it upon themselves to look up their local authorities and report it as a welfare issue. Now, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt and assume that they've done this for, you know, as a kind-hearted gesture for the sheep's benefit. You know, maybe they thought that that was the only option really to help the sheep out of the hedge. But, you know, I would suggest that there is another option, You know, instead of pulling over in your car, getting your phone out, looking up the local authorities and writing a strongly worded email or ringing them up, they could have just gone to the local farm, knocked on the door and said, hey, you've got some sheep stuck in the hedge, or left a note. Or, you know, you could have just jumped over the fence and pulled the sheep out of the hedge, couldn't you? Now, I understand that, yeah, a lot of people maybe would be concerned about trespassing on someone else's field, which is fair enough. Personally, know anyone, I mean, I can't speak for any landowners at all, but personally, I don't think any landowners that I know would have had a problem with someone jumping over a fence or a gate, walking into a field and pulling a sheep out of a hedge. You know, as long as you don't leave the gate open on your way in and way out, or cut your way in through an electric fence or through a barbed wire fence, which, you know, you might laugh, but not completely unheard of. And C, don't leave any litter in the field in the process. If you don't do any of those things, I can't see how anyone would have any problem with someone and pulling a sheep out of a hedge, or rolling a sheep over off its back is another one. Pregnant ewes stuck on their backs, you know. And do you need validation for doing it? You know, if you really feel the need to, you could take a selfie of it and post it on social media. You know, if that's what you feel you need to do, why anyone would feel the need to do that, I don't know. You know, it's like taking a good deed. Doing the good deed, but you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. People think they have an obligation to, when it comes to livestock, and, well, not just livestock, but animals in general, people think they've got an obligation to step in and do something about something that they think is wrong. But no one's willing to get their hands dirty. No one's willing to get out of the car to knock on someone's door. What's frustrating is they don't have enough self-responsibility to be able to look at the situation and say, right, if I do this one thing, it'll lead to another thing. You know, if you see a sheep stuck in a hedge, first off, unless it's your sheep, it isn't really your responsibility. But if you're the sort of person that feels like you couldn't live with yourself to carry on driving, knowing that it was going to be stuck in the hedge, fair enough. You know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I think you've got to be responsible enough to figure out what the next step is. Well, if you're not responsible for that sheep, but you feel responsible for its well-being, so the first thing you should do is try and contact the person who is responsible for that sheep. Yeah? And then the obvious thing to do would be to to go to the nearest farm. That might seem like going out of your way. But I mean, by the time you've sat there and rung someone up, looked up a phone number, rung someone up, or written an email, is it really that far out of your way? You know, you chose to feel responsible for the sheep in the first place. But anyway, I'm not really complaining. I just think people should exercise the ability to look at a situation from more than one angle and figure out the best course of action that's going to benefit not only the sheep but everybody involved. So there you are. Anyway, rant over. So we're off to the roundabout anyway. We'll see how it goes. It has been absolutely chucking it down about 5 minutes ago, but the skies have just cleared and it looks blooming lovely now. So the weather's on our side. So we'll see how it goes.
This year, I mean, if you've watched any of my videos, you'll see how often I've been pulling. Well, I've come across sheep that are stuck in hedges. Now, I'm not going to say that I haven't lost any sheep this winter, because that would just be ridiculous. But I haven't, and this is the truth, I haven't lost a single sheep this winter that's died from being stuck in a hedge. And if I did, then the whole situation would fall on me to check them more often. Because if I had lost a sheep, if I hadn't checked the sheep for a week, one of them had got stuck in a hedge, starved and died, then that's my responsibility to rectify that problem. And if you wanted to criticise me, absolutely fair enough. But that isn't the case. I mean, if a sheep does get stuck in a hedge and dies, I mean, if it gets stuck in a hedge and can't get out, I mean, it's got a good couple of days, hasn't it, before it starves. I mean, normally they eat most of the hedge for a start, and then probably quite often eat their way out of the hedge, because they do quite like eating animals. But yeah, I wasn't going to mention this, but I feel, why shouldn't I mention it when I don't feel as though, I certainly don't feel as though I'm in the wrong. I don't feel as though anyone's in the wrong. I just feel that there's better courses of actions that people can take, and maybe, just maybe, more effort is required to do the right thing in certain circumstances than just picking up your phone and writing a complaint. As it happens, I must have arrived at the field and pulled all the sheep out of the hedges the same day that the complaint was logged anyway, because they didn't contact me until the following day, by which time they sent someone out to investigate and obviously found no problems. So there was no harm done anywhere, really, other than a lot of wasted time for at least two people, not to mention myself and the farmer who had to deal with it. Just wasted time, wasted resources. You know, you could have cut out the middleman, that's all I'm saying. Fair bit of shouting going on at this dog, but we have actually got him under control now. So, we're winning. And Mark's turned up to give us a hand as well. So we'll just walk him up quietly now, hopefully. Scruffy lot. We've got half of them on the trailer, and these ones will stop here either for another day or another week, we'll see. But yeah, some of them look like they'll never fatten, and others look really well, considering what they were and what I paid for them. I mean, if you're into only dealing with high quality sheep, then you would look at these and laugh. But I think they've come a long way, really. Well, it's the next day now, and yeah, it's the end of the day, to be honest, but I'm just going to end the video here. So we had a pretty good day yesterday. Got one trailer load of sheep, which was probably just over half of them, brought back. Mark turned up to give me a hand, which was great because that made it loads easier with two people. So yeah, we got them brought back, and the Land Rover was working fine, which is again great, really great, because thanks to Mark and Dan for what they did fiddling with that. But it seems to be fine. I've used it all day today as well, and it seems to be running fine, so pretty chuffed. Yeah, not been quite as good a day today. I've got a lot of coughing going on in my calf shed with the old, well, funnily enough, not the young calves, the older cattle in that shed. And one of them doesn't look very well at all. I've had to go to the vets on the weekend and get some drugs.
So I've jabbed a couple of them with different things. So yeah, there's just a lot of coughing going on in there, and some of them don't look well at all, which is just a bit of a pain. But coming up into the top yard, and where the older cattle are, there's not a single one of them that's coughing or looks down at all. So it's all in that shed. There's obviously just a bit of pneumonia or something going through the shed. So that's sort of spoilt the day a bit, but other than that, it's all going to plan. Went to get some feed today. I was hoping to weigh some lambs, but that might have to wait till tomorrow. So I went down to the field to take the scales and hopefully set up a pen, but I got stuck. So that's as far as we've got. Anyway, well, in the next video maybe we'll see some lambs getting weighed, and hopefully I'll get some to the market. So we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye for now. Well, I'm pretty stuck and I'm pretty fed up.